Hi. Okay. It's Ina again. And as you can see, we have a lot of decks to work through. I don't know if I'm up for this, honestly. Yeah, but I'm gonna go quickly, methodically, because I also want to cover some books just briefly. You know, I'm not gonna go really in depth with anything. I'm just gonna give a brief overview, quick flip through of some stuff, and yeah, explain, you know, how I've worked with it in these past 2 months. Although most of these decks I haven't worked with in September, so with the exception of maybe the Thoth, Marseille, just the classic Rider-Waite-Smith. What else have I? Yeah, potentially that's it. I've just worked with classic decks. I also worked with the Surrealist Tarot, which I'm not going to get out right now, but I did use that for a reading. Yeah, I also I've worked with the Hayworth Tarot, which I'll include in another app present, because that's kind of like the vibe right now. So for October, I mean. So I'll include that in a separate video. This bag is really, but yeah. Oh, so much to work through. I got 4 new decks in August. Okay, this keeps shaking. I got 4 new decks in August, which is kind of a lot for me in terms of like rate of acquisition. So I got the Thoth, I got the Marseille, I got a Marseille deck, and I also got the Edmund Dulac. So I got 2 Low Scarabeo decks. Got the, let's put this here, Edmund Dulac Tarot, and I got the Dark Fairytale. So 4 very different decks. Okay, let's see. Still working with the Thoth. I'm actually using this for, I'm doing a deck and walk, even though I didn't start at April when I should have started, but I've been doing it for the past the past couple of months. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my studies with Thoth. Yeah, I actually am really enjoying Thoth. It's got some, I enjoy like, I've enjoyed like pulling a card for having, what I used to do in August was almost daily, but not always. I would pull a card and just study it, like look it up and write notes on it. So that was interesting because I got into stuff like geomancy. I don't know, I touched on ideas of, you know, that have to do with like the Tree of Life and stuff that I was already familiar with, but you know, stuff like the arrangement of the pips. I think it was in the eight of discs that had to do with geomancy, and that sent me down a whole rabbit hole of yeah, I think apparently this as well has a geomantic arrangement. I don't know if that's the word for it, but that sent me down a whole rabbit hole. So, oh yeah, so this is apparently this is a populous arrangement. And I am considering now getting into geomancy because that was an interesting find. So Thoth studies, great. I do get a lot of repeats. So right now we're in the, sorry, I'm all over the place because I'm trying to get this done really quickly because I have so many decks, and these are just the ones I worked with in August. So that should give you an idea of my struggle. Right now we're in the Deacon, I think, or maybe leaving it. No, we're almost ending the Deacon of the 2 of Swords. So these are the corresponding mages. We have Justice or Adjustment, and the Priestess or the High Priestess, and the 2 of Swords or Peace. I think it's called in English Peace or Truce, I think. Peace, yeah. So I am doing that with the Thoth. Just thought it's more appropriate because then I can sort of take notes on each card as well. And I think that's really interesting for a deck and walk. So, Thoth aside, I've also worked a lot with the Marseille. I've really been enjoying working with the Marseille a lot, actually. I've used it in quite a few readings for other people, and I've realized that it's really effective. And I don't know why that surprised me, but it did. I like the neutrality of it. It works really well in, you know, that kind of like 9 box spread, that 9 card spread. Not the 9 card spread that I did last time, the one that's going around YouTube, but box spread works really well. I like incorporating the gazes, you know, what direction the characters are facing in. I like incorporating that. I like interpreting the flowers, the vines, the arabesques. I really do. I like also the idea of characters transforming into other characters, so cards actually showing a progression of the evolution of an archetype. Like, say, in this case, you know, the King of Swords becoming Temperance. I don't know, I just feel that is really interesting. And looking at the colours as well, I've been watching a lot of, I want to give a shout out to, I believe their channel name is Wolf of Coins. I've been watching a lot of their videos on Marseille. So interesting. I love it. But yeah, this is okay, so this is a Fournier edition, and it's color coded because all the suits have different colors. A colored version of the Grimaud, you know, the Tarot Ancien de Marseille, which is the Grimaud version, which has been available since like the 30s. That was the one, according to my research, that the only Marseille that was available for a really long time. So it's based on that design, but that one in turn, so the Grimaud Marseille is based on the Conver. So I am thinking I'm going to use this. I'm going to use that kind of loop. I'm going to use that loophole to be able to use this in my tarot throwback, because it is a loophole of sorts, because this is a more recent edition. I wouldn't have had this in the period of time I'm gonna do a throwback to. I was about to spoil it there, but I'm just gonna say, you know, it's the Grimaud version. No worries. This is the, you know, it's based on a version that was the only version that was available for a really long time, so it's okay. I can use it. Honestly, if I went by the dates or the editions, the publication dates of the editions of the decks I have, I wouldn't really have much left for the tarot throwback. So I'm gonna be a little bit more flexible, but I am discarding some historical decks, and I'll go into my reasons why. So I won't be super cheaty. Yeah, I won't cheat, because I know some decks did exist but wouldn't have been easily available mass market. So I'm not going to include those as much as I'm so tempted to, but I won't include them. So that was the Marseille. Used this one quite a fair bit. More than the Thoth, I'd say, and more than the Rider-Waite-Smith, which was... I've been using the De Brig Rider-Waite-Smith for readings this month, but during August I did only have this one, which is Tower of the Magical Forest, I believe it's called. I still don't know the name, even though I've had this for months. I've had this since last year. What am I saying, months? I've had this since last year. Yeah, I do really love this version, and I'm thinking I'm gonna continue to use it in October, because it does have an autumnal feel to it. I just really love the, I don't know what it is, it's like the texture of the the colors, the texture that you feel with like the clouds, and almost like it's done with pencil, but there's a texture to it that I love. I'm gonna use this definitely in October. But I did find that even though I use this also a fair amount for readings for other people, that as Rider-Waite-Smith decks, Rider-Waite-Smith clones are prone to do, the more negative cards, in saying that in, you know, scare quotes, they tend to be more shocking. Even in this one, I thought this deck would be a little bit more palatable, but you know, even the 3 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, and it doesn't provide much flexibility in terms of interpretation. I did a reading for my 14-year-old niece, and that wasn't a very nice card. That wasn't a nice card to come up in her reading, and I wasn't really sure how to turn it on its head when, you know, the visuals are so strong. And that's why I really enjoyed working with Marseille, even though maybe visually it's not everyone's cup of tea, but the neutrality it provides is, I think, more than makes up for it, and I do like it visually. But yeah, this one was difficult to be. This one was a little less versatile than I was hoping. It was still good for readings, but again, when the more negative cards came up, let's see if I can, it was just very difficult to pretend, I guess. I almost had to pretend that it didn't mean what it was showing, you know. It could be interpreted in a number of ways. I really love this 4 of Swords. Let's see if I can, maybe skipping it. But yeah, I did use this one a fair amount as well. Also for daily pulls, I did use this one a lot. I think it's fine to use it for yourself, but sometimes it is quite jarring when you have to use it for other people. And you have to explain that, no, the 10 of Swords isn't all that bad, and it's not what it looks like. Because, I mean, at least in the Rider-Waite-Smith it is what it looks like, but okay, I don't know where the 10 of Swords is, but okay, I'll just I'll just put that aside for now. But yeah, okay, moving on. We're going at breakneck speed, right? But I can't afford to linger on each of these decks too much because there are so many that, you know, we're going to be here for 2 hours if I do. The other deck that I was surprised to find that I had used a lot during August, both for readings for myself and others, and it went down surprisingly well, even when not doing shadow readings per se, just normal readings. The Ceccoli, the Nicoletta Ceccoli, the mini version. So this is making me want the full size, the larger version. Yeah, I don't know, the way I work with this image wise, for me, I don't know what it is, but I get the inner child aspect of it for sure. I get the injured inner child aspect of it, the fragile, the vulnerability. I get that, but for me, I get to work with this deck in a way where I can almost look past that and interpret it as a dream almost. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I don't necessarily get that much shadow or negativity from these cards. I mean, I do, obviously, from some cards in particular, but I get so much depth from this deck, and I really love that. And I think that's probably why it's so good for shadow work. There's so much to latch onto, but I don't necessarily, because of the art, it doesn't necessarily just give me shadowy readings. right? I mean, a lot of people have that experience, but I don't necessarily get that. I do think it's good for exploring, getting real, I guess. Getting real, just being real. Getting to discuss the not so pleasant aspects of each card, the shadow aspects. So yeah, shadow. It's a shadow deck for sure. But it doesn't feel that, I don't know, I really, really do like the art. I love it, actually. I don't think it's creepy, but I guess that's subjective. I get why people think it's creepy. But yeah, I don't know, Ceccoli's isn't that unsettling for me. I think it's cute, actually. Maybe I'm just messed up, but I really love this Three of Cups. It's really sweet. And this Page of Cups. Some cards don't really... I struggle to have them make sense, or make them make sense. Like this Four of Wands. I don't know. I'm working on it. Okay, let's just move on. Let's just move on. I can't find the word for it, so I'm not gonna dwell on it for half an hour, but yeah, I really do love this deck. I used it a lot, and it's probably because it's a mini. It's just very easy to have on hand. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the two other decks I got. I got the Dulac, and I mentioned these in another video. So I got the Dulac, the Edmund Dulac Tarot, which I edged in this kind of coppery bronze. Yeah, I did talk about this being a Genus Loci deck for me. So Genus Loci in the sense that it helped me connect to the architecture, the culture, the energy, the vibes. The vibes is the best way I can put it, of the place where I was staying in the south of Spain. There's just, you know, these cliffs, the sea, the kind of rocky, sometimes dry and arid, desert-like terrain is really, really does remind me of that part of Spain. This as well, like, I don't know. It's very, of course it is in the vein of the Arabian Nights. And I think Dulac did illustrate the Arabian Nights. This as well, even like this. This does remind me of what dusk, of the buildings, the white buildings that are so, I guess, South Mediterranean culture, like in Greece, for example, or Turkey, and especially in the south of Spain, really, really reminds me of that. And this is like dusk coming down. It really did, like the stars coming out, and this was something I saw a lot, so it really does connect me to that. And I can just, whenever I feel like it, I can just revisit, I can use this deck to revisit that, connect with that place, which is really important to me because I do have heritage there, and it's just very, you know, it does feel like home. It's a place where I go to disconnect, and I appreciate being able to just revisit it whenever I want to. So that was a deck I used a bit. I would take it down to the beach and do readings on the beach, from not actually on the sand, but from a kind of like a lookout, I think, not sure what the word is, but a gazebo type lookout overlooking the beach. So yeah, this was a really great experience for me. Use this one for myself mostly, but yeah, that was the Dulac. And then, okay, finally, the fourth deck I got, the fourth and the final deck, was the Guilty Pleasure, the Dark Fairytale. I've wanted this one for so long. Doesn't this look like, I was thinking, doesn't this look like that actress from The Vampire Diaries? I haven't really watched The Vampire Diaries that much, but doesn't it look like I think her name is Nina Dobrev or something? Yeah, this was my Guilty Pleasure deck. I didn't get to use this one too much because I got it at the tail end of August, and then I've been using other decks since. I haven't been using as much tarot in September, to be completely honest, for reasons that I go into in my last video, which I guess I can put a little thing up here. A little thingy, a little button thing for that up here. So yeah, I go into why that didn't use that much tarot this month. But yeah, this is a deck I'd really love to use a lot more. I used it for myself, and it's surprisingly I don't know, its voice, when I kind of interpret it, the voice that I hear in my head is like, it's blunt, but it's not harsh or anything. I like really just looking at the ambience, the surroundings in this deck more than anything. The colors, the trees, the skies. I really don't like this Lovers card though. This is probably my least favorite card in the deck. I just don't vibe with it. And this looks like that other actor. God, I forgot his name. I'll put it here if I remember, but yeah, I do really love this deck. It's a guilty pleasure deck for sure. Like, there's no way around it. I feel like I'd feel less embarrassed, or, you know, I'd feel like if I had the Dark Angels instead of the Dark Fairytale tarot, I'd probably be less inclined to justify it. But this is a very, again, a guilty pleasure deck, but I'm okay with that. I really love this Seven of Cups. Really, really love it. So yeah, Dark Fairytale. Two of Wands. Let's see. Oh, I really liked the Empress in this deck is really interesting. She almost seems less inviting than the Emperor, which is very interesting. So, Dark Fairytale. I don't know, if anyone actually ends up buying this because of me, can you tag me or something? I don't know, because I'd be interested to see if anyone actually feels compelled to buy this deck because of me, because they saw it on my channel. I'd be really interested to see that. Yeah, I don't know. This is my I was thinking Mixture Spray. This is my Ludi Lescott tarot for me, but it's not as jarring or harsh. It's just moody, it's just goth, but yeah, this fills that, this scratches that itch for me, I guess. Okay, okay, I still have so many decks to cover, and I'm like, two other decks I use a lot, well, three other decks. I'll go through these first, and I'll cover the ones I use the least, probably these ones. I use these ones. This one I use a lot in readings for other people, actually, and for myself. although I did struggle with it. I'll get into that. Use this one mostly for myself, for meditation work. So this is the Tantric Dakini. This is the Astro tarot, which is not a tarot, it's an oracle, an astrology themed oracle, and then I use this one quite a bit as well for myself and for other people. The Intuitive Night Goddess. I use this one to connect with goddess energy a lot. I use this one for my that 9-card spread video as well. I found that reading particularly meaningful. I don't know, but I don't feel really inclined to use it right now. It feels, I mean, this is a all year round deck, I feel, but it also feels quite, I've kind of associated it now with the summer. So I don't know if I feel that inclined to use it right now. I don't know why this I think this is just a printing error. The 6 of Pentacles has a, but yeah, I love this full card. And it gave some great readings for my family. Some really like on the ball ones. Yeah, this one was great. Can't complain, really. Look, these are the cards that these were the cards that were literally coming up for me. Okay, every single one of them in that 9-card spread. I think I haven't shuffled this one ever since I did that, so that's probably why. Okay, so that was the Intuitive Night Goddess. Let's see, I love this. Hanged Man / meditation. I really love this. And of course that's actually Neptune, I assume, I think. So that goes along perfectly with the association of, well, the astrological association correspondence with the Hanged Man is Neptune, water. So yeah, I said that really, I said that in such an awkward way. Well, I didn't know how to get that across, apparently, but yeah. And then the Tantric Dakini I really just used for myself. I don't know if I feel confident using it for other people yet. Unless I kind of want just a visual prompt of some sort. But this was great for meditation work. I didn't meditate as much as I wanted to, I'll go into that. But the few really, really deep, meaningful meditation sessions I had were really powerful. And I was working a lot on my sort of astral exploration while I was awake, and my visualization skills. So I got some really, really powerful stuff from that. I do really love this deck though. I feel like I could use it all year round. About this card actually, I'm really glad now that I did trim off the borders, because one thing that did bother me about this deck, and I'm not necessarily saying that it wasn't a fitting title, but it did kind of, it was jarring. I guess it just triggered me, and it was maybe just a shadow thing. But this card was originally titled, this is the equivalent of the Tower, and it was originally titled Holocaust. So I don't know, I think that was just a bit for me. And I'm not saying that it doesn't have its, you know, it doesn't fit exactly, but it just, yeah, but I don't know, I found it hard to work around that I was gonna say catchphrase, but that title, Tree Spirit. I like this one. The Last Laugh, Cutting Through. I remember doing a reading for one of my nurses when I was in hospital with this deck. Not the last time, the time before last. So back in July. No, not in July, June. Towards the end of June. I was like, yeah, this is you cutting through the bullshit. Literally cutting through the bullshit. And he laughed so hard. I love this. I think this is the 10 of Cups. I love this. Anyway, yeah, I could go on about this deck forever, but I love it. I really do. So, that was the Tantric Dakini. Now, this deck was an interesting case. The Astro Tarot, the Astro deck, because I use this in quite a few readings for other people, and also for myself. I was drawing a lot of cards. I was doing a kind of daily pull almost every day with these, because I kind of wanted to get to know this deck. I wanted to understand it, and I was struggling a bit, despite the images being quite, I don't know, being quite intuitive. I guess the astrological correspondences aren't too hard to figure out. You can see it. You can see those energies in the images themselves. I don't know, but it's hard for me to interpret this deck. I'm not sure why. It's more like it just gives a vibe. It just gives a general vibe for the reading more than like an actual message. I guess that maybe that's the issue. I couldn't get messages from this per se. It's like a silent deck. It's like a silent movie. Like from the silent movie era. It just depends purely on visuals and, the correspondences, of course, but I just couldn't really get messages from these. And maybe I should do like a guidebook for this, because it doesn't have even like a little white book or anything. So maybe I should write something up for this and come up with my own messages and interpretations, as I just really, really struggled to speak to this deck. It's more like a visual guide to these astrological energies, as they kind of, how they would work with each other. So how Gemini interacts with Aquarius, for example. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. You look at it, if you know anything about astrology, it makes sense. It's intuitive. Aries and Leo. Yeah, sure, I can see that. Taurus and Libra, yeah, double Venus, I can see that. But yeah, I for some reason or another, I just couldn't get straight messages from this. So I was kind of forcing it a bit. I was using it a lot to see how far I could take it, if I could really actually communicate with this deck, if it was just a case of like me not being bonded to it enough. But I did bond with it, I can't really, yeah. So I'd pull these as visual prompts in readings for other people, mostly. And for myself, because again, like I said, I just can't seem to communicate with this deck. I think this is a great representation of Leo and Scorpio, though, in my opinion. Yeah, that's great. These are very intuitive cards. They make sense, but some of them confuse me a bit. not this one, but some of them just really confuse me. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what I can get from them, what I'm supposed to get from them. Let's see if I can find one that's like a good example of that, actually. Probably not this. I don't know. Okay, this is one that I love. It's one of my favorite cards in the whole deck. But I'm not really sure how to interpret these energies together. So Libra and Scorpio. I'm not sure. This feels like it's a surreal image. Of all the images in this deck, it's probably it's one of the most surreal, I feel. But I still don't know how to interpret this. I almost feel like a deep inner knowing, an understanding of this card, but I can't get a message from it. So I struggled with this deck. And maybe that's why I've been using it so much, because I've really been trying to work around it. Yeah, I guess I kind of see this. This one confuses me though as well. It's almost like saying, it's almost kind of like feeding into the idea that Scorpios are like the bad guys of the zodiac, which, no, as a Scorpio I can I'm gonna protest about that, obviously. Anyway, I think I've spent long enough on this one. Okay, let's move on to the decks that I didn't use as much. So I just looked at how long I've been doing this. I've been doing this flip through of decks, and 43 minutes. I'm in actual shock because I've been going so fast that I can't believe I've been at this for 43 minutes. I was hoping it'd be like half that time. And I wanted to cover other stuff that I guess I won't really be able to cover because I don't want this to be more than 50 minutes, really. Okay, this deck, quick. I would pull this for some of my, for my tarot journaling. I did actually pull a few cards for my sister on a very specific question, and she was amazed at how like on point this was. I did say this deck is always on point. I want to get the even though it's very seasonal, it feels like a very seasonal deck, but it's very themed. But I've seen a flip through of it so many times now. I've lost count. The Whispers of the Ocean, because I really like the messages on it. I don't know, I'd have to pair it with a mermaid deck, I guess. I got this one a lot, which I did do. I did stay true to this walking meditation. Yeah. Okay. This was just one I had on hand that I didn't need to use that much because I don't need repeat messages, you know? I would just pull it out occasionally. And yeah. This one I just barely used, honestly. These two as well. And mostly because I just didn't use I didn't use it for its intended purpose, which was for meditation work. I would occasionally pull a few cards as visual prompts, or, you know, to kind of use the mantras, but I didn't use many mantras this month or in August. So I can't say that I got to use this deck a lot. I would pull it alongside the Tantric Dakini. But again, because I didn't really use the mantras, then I didn't look at the guidebook, even though I did bring it with me. It's in French, but I can more or less understand it. I don't know. I just didn't use it much. So I didn't use that one as much as I thought I would. And then I don't know how much more I'm going to use it. At least right now, so in spooky season. If I didn't use it that much in August, then I don't really think I'm going to use it anymore at this time of the year. So probably gonna just put this away. And then I did use this one a few times, and with the guidebook as well. Well, I'm kind of reading through. I'm like making my way through the guidebook. It's gorgeous. The Energy Archaeology. I've already I've highlighted it. I've like set aside a few pages because I really want to study the actual names of the bones that feature in this deck. The anatomy of this is, again, this guidebook. The deck itself is it's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Like the matte gilding, even. I don't care for gilding, but I don't know. I guess I am a sucker for matte cardstock. But I did use this in some meditation work, and I did use this in a reading for another person, and it worked really well because, you know, it was kind of relevant to their lifestyle, I guess. But yeah, I didn't use this as much as I was hoping I would. But I will be just reading the guidebook on its own, honestly. I think I'll just be doing a daily, I will be like using this in October. So what I'll do is I'll probably do a daily pull and read the guidebook, get my messages from here, and sort of meditate on them for a bit. Yeah, maybe do some kind of yoga centered around these parts of the body. I don't know. Or just, I don't know, focusing my energy on those parts of the body, visualizing and stuff. Okay, so, well, yeah, okay, well, I've covered all the decks. Okay, so I don't think I'll get to cover the decks I was using in September, but like I said, I really haven't been using many decks in September at all. I am using the Sibyl's Oraculum. I'll be using that in the month of October. I did use a bit also this card I had aside, but aside. I've been using the Klimt Tarot, which I have a complicated relationship with that deck, and I'll go into it in another video. This is not the video for it. I put it away because I'm not using it right now, but at the beginning of September I did use the Mountain Dream Tarot, which is a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, but in, yeah, photographic. I'll get to use this one in my throwback though, actually, which is interesting. What else? Yeah, okay. I bought a singing bowl. I don't have it with me here on my table, but here's a little cushion. I've been using that a lot. And then I've been reading, making my way very, very slowly through Psychic Witch. Slowly because I want to kind of focus on it in sections rather than just kind of read through it like a book. When I did this exercise, the circuit exercise, that was one of my most powerful meditations. It actually had an effect on me, like on my body, and an effect I'd never experienced before. But yeah, this is a book that I think other people have said that you kind of don't you don't read it like a book. You work through it in chunks. And I really want to I really want to work on my breath work. So I'm still stuck at near the beginning of this book because I really want to focus on perfecting my breath work, my relaxation exercises, stuff like that. And then, oh, I completely forgot. Yeah. Damn. Because I barely use this deck because I'm having trouble bonding with it. But I'll get to use it in the Tarot Throwback Challenge, so I guess that's another opportunity to bond with it. This is the Flowers. Another deck falsely misleading, falsely named the tarot, Flowers Tarot, but it's not a tarot, it's an oracle. So misleading name as well. But it's really more divinatory, so it's kind of hard to even use it as an oracle deck, as like a supplement or complement, I guess is the word for it, because it has like more divinatory keywords, titles. I don't know if I can, I don't know, but I'll get another opportunity to bring this out in October. No, in November, sorry. That's when I'm going to do the throwback. And during October as well, I'll do a vibe check kind of thing for what I'm going to be using in October, because this video is long enough. But I will be working through this book, the Ancestral Tarot, because I think this is the perfect time of year to do ancestral work. I already sort of started reading it, and I'm sort of flipping through it, and it's incredible. But yeah, I'll be using this quite a bit. Then also, just to round it off, what else? Oh yeah, because I want to, I at least want to cover everything that I showed in the thumbnail. So in terms of tarot history, I've been reading Robert M. Place's book on tarot history, because you kind of get a lot of tarot history in snippets, in pieces from other books, and you kind of have to piece it together. And this is I just wanted a very thorough guide through the history of tarot in terms of how it links to Neoplatonism, is that how you say it? Hermeticism and stuff like that. This is a great book for that. Lots of sources as well. He cites a lot of sources, so great illustrations. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this book, so I don't really have to go through it that much. And let's see if I can round it off here with, I got some other books, but again, I'll cover them in a vibe check type of present. Yeah, I've started making my way through Spinoza's Ethics, and again, this isn't a book that you can just read in like one fell swoop. This is a hard study, and I'm not a philosophy person, major, so forgive me because I'm not really familiar with a lot of the cornerstones of philosophy, of classic philosophy. So I can't really give much, I can't really comment on this as much, but yeah, I was hoping this would be kind of my entry point for classic philosophy. So this is a very slow read, but I'm enjoying it. Where am I? Yeah, but I'm not even, I haven't even started the actual chunk of the book. I'm still on like the notes, the introduction, kind of. But yeah, this was just something that was recommended to me, so I thought yeah. Okay, that's it. Bye.